What's going on, guys? What the fuck's here? Going to be bringing you guys a StarCraft 2 replay here today on Desert Oasis. I'm going to be bringing you guys a TVT mirror matchup here, and today the two players are going to be pokeroffKas as the yellow Terran spawning in the northern position, and the red Terran player is going to be GoOdy spawning in the lower position. GoOdy is obviously one of the more well-known Terran players, as he's seeming to he's starting to make a rise and starting to make a name for himself. I'm obviously not very prolific in the StarCraft 2 scene, so maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass right now, but I've started to see a lot of his replays pop up, and it seems that he's starting to get a lot of recognition for his really good work that he does. He's very strong, does some really solid things throughout a match, just up and down, really strong, good Terran play, which um, you know can really be regarded really well, especially right now where Terran seem to be taking a step back as the most ultimate race. They were originally very dominant here early on, but since the patch and since their dominance has just been reigning for so long, it seems that people have really figured out a lot of very solid strategies to really take them out from a variety of different angles. Especially from Zerg versus Terran perspective, it seems that that matchup is becoming a lot more balanced now. So I hope it stays that way, and I hope Terran, keep getting put on the back foot. But obviously, we won't see any of that here today. We'll be seeing a really good matchup, though. It will be a really high-level replay here, and hopefully some things can actually be learned from this. But first thing to note is that GoOdy is actually not blocking off his ramp, which in a TVT matchup really isn't too important, but it could be a little more important should he actually want to stop an early scouting SCV. So I guess really not too big of a gripe there, but it's something that's very simple that just a few supply depots could have easily taken care of. And looking back up here at Poker, it seems that he's actually going to be blocking off, and he's just going to be using straight supply depots, which is something I would say is probably the better choice here, but I guess it really is not going to matter too much. Barracks are already up for everybody, really standard opener for everybody, and this is where the deviations are going to start to come in. What happens next will really dictate what people are going to be doing as their race and what their game plan is going to be overall. It looks like they're both throwing down factories, so I'm guessing we're going to see a 1-1-1 opener. Barracks into factory into starport, which is probably pretty standard nowadays, especially for TVT, because it leaves you with so many options. You can have so many different varieties of units that you can really just make a very solid composition, and really, as long as you are scouting very well, you can take out your opponent very easily with the right mixture of units. So it looks like that's what we're going to have here. It looks like GoOdy is actually throwing down his starport right now, and it actually looks like Poker's actually going to be getting a tech lab here on his factory, which is a little astounding to me, considering that it just doesn't really feel like siege tanks in the early game are going to be the best unit, especially for such a large map, because they're really immobile, especially if you do plan on getting siege tech. Siege tech just makes them take so long to actually prop their legs down and actually siege up, that on such a large map where there's a lot of places that people could be coming from and could be hiding, that I just don't think it's the best choice early on, especially since you have no idea what your opponent is doing right now. So who am I to really judge what he's doing, but just pointing that out, I really just don't think it's the best call. It seems that GoOdy here is actually going to be pumping out a Hellion, and this Hellion will probably use mostly for scouting, and if he can actually get up in the line, maybe get a few SCV kills, but actually looks like he's pretty content to leave him right here. It seems that we have a drop ship going over here, and it's 2 Hellions and 4 Marines, and it looks like it's getting set up to siege on the back of the mineral line, which is really good play. And this drop area right here is really devastating. It's just such a small area, and with instant load ups, you can just go ahead and take this and back out very, very easily. But they're scoring quite a few SCV kills, and I guess this is where the siege tank could really come in handy. But it just doesn't really seem like it's still just not the best unit. But looks like Poker is finally able to push that out, but the damage has already been done. The 4 Marines that lost their lives definitely did it in Valiant. So, very good play there. Definitely took an economy hit, and actually taking a look at the income, he's actually down by 10 Harvesters right now. That's absolutely huge here early on, and GoOdy, being the smart player that he is, sets up an attack and puts his opponent on the back foot and is setting up an expansion, which is beautiful. Really good play right there. Really very, very solid. Very, very nice. So it looks like GoOdy here is going to take the early dominance in this game, and that's something we kind of come to expect. It seems that Vikings are going to start to be the unit of choice here coming out of the starport for GoOdy, which is a really good choice because they're just very mobile units, and they're obviously very good in the air with a range of 9, but they're not too bad on the ground. They're, obviously there's better units, but they can serve a really good purpose. And looks like the starport has finally come down for Poker, and looks like he's going to switch it onto the reactor. Nope, he's going to actually switch it up. It seems like he might be a tad bit confused. Maybe he fumbled his key bindings here, but this is pretty costly. He's wasting a good amount of time right here by not putting these two buildings on the ground. Even if he just puts them down doing nothing, at least they're doing something. But looks like he will finally put it here on the reactor, and I'm guessing he'll probably pump out, he's going to pump out a good amount of Vikings, which looks like we're going to see some more mirror-like play. Over here, it looks like Poker's setting up his expansion, but it's obviously going to be a tad bit behind GoOdy's, but it looks like GoOdy hasn't really taken the time to actually transfer some SCVs yet, and here they all come down. So once this starts getting up and running, his economy is going to be really kicking, so he'll definitely be in very good position. This barracks actually spotting this attack force coming from the back end. Let's see if Poker's actually going to respond in time. It looks like he's getting his siege tank already ready, and he's just going to start shelling away on these light units, and he's going to do some massive damage. The Vikings coming in from the back, very nice. A point defense drone here to block some of the Vikings' bullets, and very good use here. He's going to really push back this attack very, very well. It seems that GoOdy's valiance is really showing through here, and his good determination is actually coming through here. And he has his factory just getting shelled away at, and I really don't know if Poker's actually going to have enough here to actually go ahead and respond and actually take this out, but as long as GoOdy leaves the Viking overhead, this is just going to get shelled all day, and it looks like GoOdy's actually making a very small mistake by moving one of the Vikings out of the way, but it's not too big of a deal. It looks like he's still going to keep on shelling away. And what I really don't understand is why Poker doesn't lift it up and put it on this tech lab, which is obviously a lot more secure of a position. It's obviously a little more inward, and plus, he won't be allowing his SCVs to get, splashed on. Well, I guess they're not getting splashed on anyways, but not too big of a deal here. But it looks like that, well, spectators actually kind of getting annoying with that, but they're helping out a little bit. But the Vikings finally push us back, but there's been so much damage done that it seems that it was definitely not worth it. But a couple siege tanks moving out here through the lower valley, and it looks like they're going to be moving into this expansion here, and this could be very, very devastating. He doesn't have anything here to defend this, and it looks like he really doesn't have much of a army at all. These Vikings might see it, and they do, so this could be really bad. He might actually not make so much of a mess over here that but it's just luck of the draw, I guess. If these Vikings might have been here just a tad bit sooner, this could have been a completely different outcome. But it looks like they're actually going to show up just in the nick of time to actually get some damage. And it looks like Poker's actually going to be forced to pull SCVs off, and they're just not doing anything. And wisely, GoOdy just goes ahead and lifts off avoid some of the damage from this particular Viking on the ground, and finally is dropped. But very good harassment there, and it looks like he's sending in even more Vikings coming in here in the main, and all they're going to do is just go ahead and land. Ooh, maybe not. Very smart play there, deciding not to land, especially with this siege tank just sitting right here. But it looks like he's so tempted to put them down and just start picking off some SCV kills. It looks like this barracks will actually get away, but not too big of a deal there. The barracks serving its purpose, doing a little bit of scouting for GoOdy here. And it looks like we have an epic face-off here between the two Marines over the hill. The yellow Marine says he's better because he's on the high ground. Oh my gosh. It's 6 in the morning and I'm just blabbering in my room. It feels awesome. This expansion totally kicking right now, and it looks like that poker has kind of got this saturated a little bit. Taking a look at the incomes really quick, this is such a devastating difference in harvesters. Almost 20 over his opponent, but obviously not making complete use of them until he gets his third expansion up, and GoOdy just having really good game sense here, using his harassment to his advantage, and is going to take the gold. And once this gold gets up and running, it's going to be absolutely devastating. I really don't know if poker can actually hold on at that point. Once that gets up, he's just going to be in such a commanding position, and it looks like poker's getting a little side-locked here, and you know, I guess it's okay. He's keeping his money low, which is doing wonders for him, but you know, at what cost? And it looks like oh my goodness, almost 2,000 minerals. Look at all these mules just going crazy. They're such a good unit. Something that really irks me. And it looks like GoOdy is actually getting really ostentatious here and is just showing his complete dominance over his opponent by taking this northern expo so far from his main base. Really hard to defend, but just absolutely taking control of that. Looks like a Hellion showing up here at the watchtower, but running into a decent amount of Marines, and just as all real life simulators, you can shoot through. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can shoot through canyon walls. But looks like this tower will go ahead and belong to poker for the rest of the match, and poker should really take advantage of the fact that he does have pretty good control of this area and should probably be looking at expanding, because his income is absolutely hurting so badly here, and I really just don't think he knows it at this point. It looks like GoOdy is setting up a little bit of defenses, but a backdoor drop is coming into the main here and picking off a good amount of SCVs. Looks like GoOdy is forced to run them away. Just running in here, trying to do as much damage as possible. This M&M ball is just doing some decent damage, but absolutely gets obliterated by that Viking, and it looks like all these Vikings that were coming to reinforce are forced to back out. Finding a stray SCV here at the watchtower and taking it out, and you know, small victories are small victories. They're still victories nonetheless. It seems like a drop is going on here in the main of poker, and really good devastation going on here. All the SCVs are forced to pull back, and look at this bottleneck. Oh, the Marauders are blocking the SCV.